here today to be able to speak in front of everybody. Dynamic Manipur is a non-profit organization with a mission to uplift the state via education and programs such as these. They have a Facebook page. Please do like it and follow their updates regularly because they have really good programs every now and then, and this is something that is very much required, to follow up on. A little bit about myself. My name is Michelle Salam. I did my education. I'm born of a Goan mother, and my father is a Manipuri. I was sent to boarding very early. I was only 7 years old. So I have been outside Manipur most of my life. I was in Nainital for 9 years, and after that I was in Bombay. I did my graduation in economics, and then came back to Manipur only after marriage. My journey hasn't been an easy one, and I started in 1996. And I think at that time there was something just like a Gita bakery where if you actually ate that cake, you're going to be sick because it was all made from sugar and not hygienic ingredients, and there was no choices at that time. So I started with a fork. I did not even have a beater, a bowl, and an old tandoor lying in my kitchen. I did not know what baking was. It was my ambition to do my MBA too and to work in corporate banking. But life doesn't always go as planned, and things happen. I got married, and quite frankly, I just picked up a magazine, a Soil Telegraph magazine. I think those of you, your parents would know. Long back, about 20 years ago, there used to be this Telegraph magazine that used to come in from Calcutta, and it used to come in on the weekend. So that was a supplement. There was a Telegraph supplement that was lying in my kitchen, and I have absolutely zero knowledge about what baking powder is, about what vanilla essence is, when I first baked that first cake. So it was all, and I can tell you that I faced a lot of hardships, but I wouldn't be where I am without that. And this is the youth today, so I would like to say that, you must welcome your hardships. And the greatest mentor is not the person who's speaking on a huge platform. The greatest mentor is that adversity that you are facing. Your challenges is your greatest mentor. My mom, being a Goan, definitely I would say when it comes to baking and home-baked, wholesome food, I always had the opportunity. I didn't have to go out to the market to look for somebody who was, for a good cake. She being Goan, throughout my childhood, we always fed really well. And so even though I didn't help her much as I was in boarding, being in boarding 10 months, and then I used to come home for only 2 months and I used to help her bake. But I didn't have the knowledge of what it was, of what vanilla essence is, or what baking powder was, or what flour had to do, to help the cake to rise and things like that. So when I first started out, I would whip the batter like for 3 hours with a fork. It was hard manual labor. It was, my hands and my arms used to ache for days on end because I did not have a hand blender. That came many years later, and I would bake in a tandoor. A tandoor is something that doesn't even have a regulator or a temperature. So my cakes would burn, sometimes they would be lopsided, sometimes they would rise well, sometimes they wouldn't rise well. But those were my teaching moments. It went on like that for years before I saved up enough money to buy my first OTG, and that was OTG is a oven toaster grill. I bought my first OTG in 1997. After several trials, I did realize that I had a knack with baking, and started spreading the word by offering my friends and family at small occasions. In 1998, a friend of mine suggested that maybe I should put a price to my cake. That if I put a price to my cake, you would no more feel odd ordering from me, and it wouldn't be as a favor. So I started by pricing my cake 1 kg of vanilla at rupees 200 and 1 kg of chocolate at rupees 20 at 225 rupees. My first order was in 1998. So 2018 was actually the year that I completed 20 years of baking. aspiring to do the MBA, you must be knowing that some of the key elements are operation, marketing, finance, and HRD. I did not do my MBA, so I do not know the theory part of it. But what I do know is the functional aspects of it. And those functional aspects come with experience of trying to establish a business in a place like Manipur. Those were load shedding days, and it was really difficult because load shedding meant that the government would give light at very odd hours, sometimes at like midnight to 2 a.m. and from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. I would nurse my small child to sleep, put him to sleep, go up to the kitchen at 12 at night. 2 decades ago, the winters were really cold. It wasn't like this, like how it is now, like global warming, and all of this has changed so much that it is much warmer now. But 2 decades ago, winters were really cold. And I would go up to the kitchen, wait, because the light used to be given at midnight. It used to be freezing cold. And sometimes that light too wouldn't come. And if it did come, then I would start whipping the batter, bake the cake, wait for the cake to be baked, take it out, cool it, upturn it, and this should go on till 2 a.m. in the morning. Then I would go down at 2 a.m. and go and sleep for a few hours, and then get up in time again for 5 a.m. because the lights used to be given from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. It was really hard on the body, mentally, physically, it was really challenging. And it was not so much about the money. For me, it was important that I stand on my own feet, that I do not let my education go to waste, and that I should contribute. I should contribute and I should do something and earn my own money. I also did door-to-door sales. At that time, there was no internet. There was definitely no mobile phones, no YouTube, nothing. So I actually would, borrow my father-in-law's vehicle, fill up petrol for about 150, 200 rupees, and go to my friends' houses, to families, to relatives, and make small samples of what I knew how to make, little pastries, little cookies, and ask and give it to them and sell it for about 100 rupees, 200 rupees, 300 rupees, and then I used to come back and wait with nervousness. I mean, I used to be a nervous wreck waiting for that feedback as to how that particular cake, what my ingredients were and whether the customer would like it or not. So there was no marketing then. It was only me, myself, like Ramina said. It is you yourself who have to promote yourself. There's nobody who's going to do that for you. You have to do it yourself. And so that is what I did. I would go to a few houses, and so that's how I started, building through word of mouth. After I started getting bigger orders, there was a big difficulty that I faced. Today, all those who know something about cake, if you buy a cake from the market, there's always a cake board underneath it. Today it is ready-made. It is easily available in the market. But in those days, this is 97, 98, there was no shop selling cake boards. So I used to go to the grocery stores and, with 50 rupees, 100 rupees, and buy these thick corrugated sheets, the boxes in which, Maggi comes and lactogen comes, and, take these big knives and then cut them and then tape them, because there were no cake boards available. Those were very difficult days. And even then, that did not give too much stability to my cake, because my cakes, after I put my fillings and everything, were heavy. So I had to come up with something else. I had no mentor ahead of me. I had nobody to ask where to go, what to do, how to do. So it was basically just practical common sense as to how to go about it. So I used to buy bamboo sticks from people who used to make, the vendors who make chicken coops, okay? And I would take them, cut them uniformly, sharpen them like a pencil nib, and that was really hard on the hand. I mean, I would, and after that, use about 3 of them for each ball to make it stable, and then wrap it with wrapping paper. So baking came much later. Just to get to the part of baking the cake, there were so many difficulties that one had to face. Electricity was an issue. My business my work has been determined by factors that I have no control over. Economic blockades, natural calamities, on-the-spot bun. Somebody has placed a wedding cake order, there's a bun tomorrow. It is not something that I am responsible for. It is not something that the customer is responsible for, but it is very stressful because it is not a garment. If I bake it and the customer can't come, that is an issue. If I don't bake it and the customer comes, that too is an issue. So there have been really difficult times when it comes to economic blockades. There are two special occasions that I remember. One was where I sent my private vehicle to Dimapur, and it was like totally hit by landslides. There was no way to get there, I sent my vehicle there. It got ruined. I sent my vehicle there to get cream to meet my customer orders. And there was another time when the economic blockade went on for 6 months. I flew down cream by flight. Everybody knows how expensive air cargo is. Today we are allowed only 15 kgs of weight, and each of us, we have to pay about 400, 500 for 1 kg of excess. So I flew in cream, 2 lakhs. I paid 2 lakhs for it. I did not make any money. It was a complete loss for me, but that was wedding season, and I had taken at least 40 to 50 wedding cake orders. For me, the fact that it is once in a lifetime, and that I did not want to call my client and say I'm not able to do it. And also, I feel that money isn't everything. It is important, but it shouldn't be the sole purpose of your enterprise. So I got that cream down. I made every single wedding cake order. I did not disappoint any couple. And none of those couples may know of my sacrifice at this, of what I went through to get that particular cream to meet their wedding cake order. But as I said, money isn't everything. If you are passionate about what you do, if you are passionate about what you do, you keep practicing, whatever be your line of work. I am a baker, everybody here must be in different lines. Whatever you do it with consistency. You have to keep practicing it, and you have to keep persevering. If you do not know how to persevere in a place like Manipur and you give up easily, when the first hardship comes along, you are not going to succeed. It is very important to keep at it, to keep practicing, because practice makes perfect. It is something we learn when we are in school, but it is the truth of life. You have to be consistent, you have to keep working at something to be identified as very good at something. I have also tried my best to source my ingredients locally. I have tried to go to local vendors who have egg farms, because my thinking is that the money should remain in our state. And even to people out here who are going to start venture out and going to start your own business enterprise, if you're going to buy something from outside and resell it out here, it is not going to help the economy of Manipur to grow, because it basically means that you have bought it from somebody else. The bulk of the money has gone to another state. What we need to do is create jobs and do things locally, because that provides local employment. So I wanted to, because I have a very huge consumption of eggs in my bakery, so I wanted to give that, that kind of bulk order to people locally. But I went to all the big farms out here, and unfortunately, they said they would not be able to meet my demand, because of the hardships they face. They said they may be able to give me on some days, and some days they won't be able to give me. So I could not depend on that, So even today, if somebody here, future down the line, if you are going to go open an egg farm, please contact me. I will be first to buy your eggs. You won't have to worry about finding customers. I also want to tell everybody that you have to enjoy the process, the journey. Don't be in a hurry. I started in 1996, late 96, 97. I had just an old tandoor, saved my money, bought my first OTG, then joined small little maru, saved 200, saved 300, then 500, then bought a second OTG, then a third one, and then I had 5. But I realized that it was not manageable to pay at all hours, like when the government was giving electricity. So then I saved up money, and I went to Calcutta and I bought my first commercial oven. So it has been a gradual step. After that, I went to Delhi, I bought a bigger one, and then now I finally invested in something that is made in Taiwan and has come from Bombay. So it is a gradual process. Whatever be your line of work, enjoy the journey. Don't be in a hurry. Whatever you achieve in a hurry is going to be very short-lived, because it means you didn't lay the foundation well. You need to know each and every step of what you are selling, or of what you are doing, before you actually bring that product into the market. To run a successful business, whatever be your line of work, I've just noted a few key factors that have helped me. Number one is vision. You need a vision. You need a goal. Small-term goals, big-term goals. If you don't have a vision and you jump into a business today and you don't know where you're going to be 5 years later, 10 years later, you are going to be walking aimlessly. I didn't have my answers to. I also failed. Things didn't work out. But learn along the way. Learn along the way. You definitely need to have a plan inside. Okay. Communication skills. I feel communication skill is one of the key factors that has helped me to be where I am today. You may be a gold medalist. You may be extremely talented. But if you are unable to effectively communicate what is in you, what is the knowledge that you have, what is in your head to your teammates, it is not going to work. And another underrated skill I feel, is that leaders don't talk about or entrepreneurs don't talk about is listening. I have learned more by listening than by talking. And I think if you listen, each person has a story to share. Each person can contribute something to your journey. And so when I am invited for conferences outside, I spend a lot of time in listening to my fellow experts. And I learn so much. I absorb and I come back because what they are saying, that is not something you're going to get on a YouTube tutorial or an internet website. That is somebody's journey. Every single person here has something to contribute to my journey if I were to sit and listen. So when you are hiring people or when you are hiring teammates, it is really important to listen to their story. Everybody has a story to share and there's something that you can learn from every single human. Talent. Know your strength and your weaknesses. This is something I want to share. In the last 2 years, I've been invited to Goa, Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta. And even in baking, there's so many lines. It is a very vast subject. There's flour making, there's chocolate making, there's bread making, there's fondant, there's cream, in which I specialize in. But everybody can't be good at everything. You need to identify your strength, work on it consistently, and make sure that everybody gets to know, okay, that for this product, this person is the best. Everybody is not good at everything. I am not good in every line of baking. And in today's time, there's information overload. You go to the internet, one YouTube tutorial is going to tell you something, the next expert is going to tell you something, the third one is telling you something. Everybody is confused. What I would say is you identify your strength, work at it consistently, keep practicing whatever it is your area of strength. In time, it may take time, but you will be identified as somebody who's really good in that particular field. Information and technology. This has helped any business in today's time to grow. Use it, study people, look up other mentors, look up entrepreneurs, see what their USP is, find out about their organization, why it is separate, why it is different. Say Starbucks, for example, why is Starbucks doing so well? They're not even an Indian company. What is their USP? So use technology, use information to your advantage to build your business. The right team and the right staff. It is absolutely crucial, I believe, to hire people who share your vision. If you're going to hire people who do not understand what you want to do, you're not going to be able to achieve your dreams. I always tell everybody, this is a pyramid. My customer is right on top, and then comes my staff, and then me at the bottom. I am where I am because of my customers. If I did not have customers, I wouldn't be here today. So that is the order in which it should be. Not that I am on the top, I am right at the bottom. I am able to achieve what I have achieved because I have a good team. And also, a good leader is somebody who gives the opportunity. You need people to identify. Everybody has, the line that I am has got to do with hands. But there's somebody who can make a flower, there's somebody who can paint, there's somebody who can just do packaging. So it is important to identify each person's line of strength and then promote them in that particular way. If somebody who doesn't know maths, you're going to keep teaching maths, it's not going to happen. Somebody who doesn't know art and you're going to keep teaching them art, it's not going to happen. So it is important to understand that every human is different. Every human has their own strengths and weaknesses, and it is important to promote that particular strength And we as a community, I feel, we are talented in every way, be it science, be it sports, be it culture. We are a very talented race. But what we need in Manipur is entrepreneurs who create jobs and who are creating jobs to help this economy grow. Another thing that I would like to stress on is to have ethical practices. I will share some of my experiences. My website is on every social media platform. So on Google I have about 10 or 11 1-star. I may have not replied to the people who have given me a 5-star, but I have replied to every single customer who has given me a 1-star rating. And I have said, thank you for your feedback, but I would like to know, was there anything wrong in the design, in the flavor, in customer service? I would like to improve my team and my services. Please let me know. Leave your phone number or leave your email so that I can get back to you. And out of those 10 people who have given me a 1-star, not one of them has replied to me. Be ethical in your practice, be fair in your practice. If you're giving me a 1-star on a public platform where everybody can read it and where everybody can make a decision on a review, be fair to me. If I have done something wrong, it is not a mechanized process, my bakery. It is like semi-mechanized. The cake batter is beaten. In recent times, I've invested in live mixers, and then it is baked in the oven. But it is a customized bakery. I am not into bulk production. So yes, maybe out of 100 cakes, 99 were good, and that one single one was not up to par. But be fair to me, be fair to the people who are working for me. Tell me where I've gone wrong so that I can improve it. Don't hide behind the phone because we don't know your face and your identity and just go and give somebody a 1-star without any reason to back up with. It is not right. Downloading somebody else's creation and claiming it to be yours, it is not right. Okay? So I think this is very important, especially in the creativity line. We make a difference. We are so many of us here today. If I start somewhere, I try my best when somebody comes and gives me an order to actually find out who the original creator is. But it is becoming difficult. I am unable to do that because you need to spend so much time on the internet, go to that particular website. But yes, if I know that this particular design has been made by somebody I know, I give credit to that person. In the same way, I would like to get that same credit. If you are downloading something that I have created originally, give me that credit. And this is not just for baking, this is for any line of work. Marketing and advertising. Market your product. Spend money on advertising. Let people know what you are selling, why you are selling it, why is it different from what is available in the market, why is it different, okay? I started my Facebook page in 2009. I didn't even know how to take photographs. I didn't know how to phrase my captions. But I have learned along the way, following what others do and how other successful pages have been doing. So now I have grown, I can claim that I have grown my market not by paying and not by sponsorship, but organically. And today my Facebook page stands at 17.5 likes and Instagram at 15.8 likes. I have shared my difficulties not to intimidate you, but to let you know that whatever be your line of work, there will be challenges at every stage, at the start of your business, in the middle of your business, towards the end. But that should help you. That should help you reach your goal eventually. The commonality between the speakers, the esteemed speakers before me, is that we have established our business locally. So my advice to everybody here, and my wish to everybody here, is to try and start enterprises that are local, so that we employ locally, and that we use what is here locally, so that we can help the economy to grow. Most of you are already qualified with degrees and are starting out miles ahead where I was. When I started out, I didn't have anything. I didn't have money, I didn't have equipment, I had nothing. But the people here, most of you have degrees, you have qualifications, you are on the verge of stepping out and becoming business entrepreneurs yourself. And I'm sure many of you in this room are going to be very, very successful. So you are already at an advantage. The minute you can figure out the points between your theory that you have learned from your professors here at NIMS and what is actually in reality is when you're going to be very successful people. I would like to add, you end by saying that there's something that I really believe in, that it is one lifetime, do what you love and love what you do. If you're going to be in a job that you don't like, don't do it. Don't do it. Today's times are different. We are no more in a times where you have to be either a doctor or a teacher or an engineer. The scope is so vast, there's so many different fields, and people are talented in different ways. I may not know maths, but I may know something else, So the field is like really vast. It's one lifetime. Don't do what you don't love, because you will never be happy at it. You will never be able to produce well at it. You will never achieve results if you are in a job that you don't like. There's something really nice that I would like to share with you all. It has not yet been announced, but since I've been given this platform, it is going to come out as an announcement the next week. The cream that I use in my bakery is by a big multinational, multi-crop company called Dropline. And they have identified my work because I have been using their product for many, many years. And all my cakes that have won awards and that have won international recognition have been used with their product. So in the next week, they are announcing me as the face of their company. So it is a privilege. It is a privilege to have to announce this here today to let all of you know, because whenever I have gone to a conference, the first thing I have been asked is, are you from Manipal? And I said, if you want me to speak, you have to understand that you have to know from where I'm coming. I am not from Manipal, I am from Manipur. So it is a moment, of true achievement for me to have my work recognized on a national platform and to have a company announce me as the face of their company all over India. And it is not just an achievement for me, it is an achievement for my state, for what I believe in, for all those who have believed in me. Thank you everybody for your time.